My name is Shifeng, and this is my story. In the year 2100, a study of human life achieved a new breakthrough. And then a hologram game named God's Domain appears. The game functions by stimulating the movement of the player. It became the game that was most liked at that time. And in the year 2139, 39 years after the game was released, the account I was playing with suddenly deleted. And I was just thrown away by the company where I work with, namely the Shadow Guild, even though I have sacrificed so much of my time for that game. Soon I passed out, and when I realized, I was already in the time when I was young. To be exact, 10 years ago. I also came out of my house and met my old friend named Blackie. He then offered to join the Shadow Guild. I refused because I do not want the same incident to happen again. I then intended to open my own guild, but Blackie couldn't join. I will prepare my needs, and after everything is ready, I log into the game God's Domain. After the game, I forgot a little about the previous panel of this game. Soon an angel named Gabriel appeared and proposed the class that I should use. I decided to take the swordsman class and also use the same name I used before. After finishing, I was then transferred to a city called the Redleaf Town. Yeah, right, Redleaf Town is a starting town for newbies, and right now I am given for attribute points. In my past life, maybe I would have chosen strength attribute to increase my strength power so the damage I could produce could be large, but I won't repeat the same mistake. I then choose to focus on the agility attribute. Soon Blackie contacted me. He said if he took the necromancer class. I also asked him to meet in Redleaf Town, because I will raise my level very quickly. While waiting for Blackie to come, I then took a quest from an old beggar, who ordered me to kill the mayor of Redleaf Town. I also met the mayor in question, and his name is Cross. I then threw tomatoes at him in order to ignite his emotions, because that's the only way he can show his true face, which is a werewolf. When he wanted to attack me, the city guards then appeared and stabbed him with swords successively, seeing that the other players didn't stay silent and helped the city guards. Major Cross then they managed to defeat it, but what they hoped for was not an item drop, but it's different from me, who already got what I wanted, namely a medal from the Major Cross, which would allow me to complete the quest from the old beggar. After completing the quest from the old beggar, I managed to level up and get a gravity ring. Not to forget, I also increased the skill points I got to my agility. Then I met someone named Heartstabber, who in my past life he was a master assassin. I didn't expect that at the beginning of the game, his life was very sad. Heartstabber intends to borrow my coins, 5 bronze coins, and will replace them tomorrow. But I want 50 bronze, which makes Heartstabber very sad. I then followed the challenge in the arena. I then showed a few of my abilities to Heartstabber and his partner, which made them very surprised when they saw it. I also managed to go through all the challenges that exist and complete the challenge, and get a movement book called Thundering Flash, because I managed to get a book. Then, I decided to practice properly. I arrived at the Redleaf Forest. There I saw lots of players trying to raise their level too. While walking, I saw lots of monsters that I could kill very easily. However, a forest wolf caught my attention, because I know that the beast has high agility and attack. Just before attacking him, I fell in front of the mouth of the cave, and apparently, there is a nest of forest wolves. I ran very fast, but they caught up and almost bit me. Out of urgency, I then used the gravity skill and shot far ahead so that I managed to escape from the forest wolves, and did not think that I had run far into the center of the forest. While there, I decided to fight the stone giant monsters that were there, but I already had proper preparations. I threw an explosive berry at the monster and managed to make its movement stop, seeing that I immediately jumped on him. And after going through a fierce battle, I succeeded to defeat the monster and get an equipment drop from it. I then went deep into a cave. There I found an amazing thing, namely the presence of a giant monster that was sitting down, named Shrew, who was at the elite rank. I then intended to fight him and immediately lunged at him. Instantly he awoke with a feeling of rage, seeing that I also decided to use an explosive berry. But unfortunately, it had no effect at all, and the damage I produced was minimal. And the monster also has a healing skill that makes me a little overwhelmed. I didn't think long and just continued to hit him very brutally. After seeing the monster reach its exhausted state, I saw it as an opportunity not to be missed. Once again I hit it, but the monster quickly hit me and sent me flying to the cave wall. I do not just give up and then exert all the abilities I have. With full confidence, I finally succeeded in overthrowing the monster. I then got a piece of equipment and also a skill book called Parry. Did not think long, I immediately learned it. After a while, I decided to explore the mountains around there, and when I was at the foot of the mountain, I suddenly found myself in an old city, and there I got a hidden quest. I then went around to the houses but found nothing. Feeling something was wrong, I went to the roof of the house to look around and found a wizard's tower visible in the distance. I felt that I had to go there and investigate. While inside the tower, I met an old man who said that the city was called the City of Heaven. I was astonished to hear that, because as far as I know, the Sky City is very famous, but the city was lost when the War of the Third God raged. So why is it in that place? The old man then gave me a choice of 3 difficult challenges. However, I chose the hardest one. Soon a group of Spectre warriors appeared and the hidden quest began. I then had an idea to deal with the Spectre warriors by blocking them in the stairs of Wizard's Tower and preventing them all from ascending. In that way I can slaughter them all. One by one I managed to finish off the Spectre warriors, and finally managed to kill 500 of them, and which made me successfully complete the hidden quest. The old man appeared and gave me a reward chest. After that, he then sent me back to the Redleaf town. When I arrived in the city, I then opened the reward chest, which made me very surprised, because I get a sword called the Upsal Blade, and also to skill books, namely potion making and forging. Then I went to the Redleaf side of town, which is the trading area, to sell some stuff I don't need. The people who were there who saw my merchandise were shocked, because the goods I sold were high-grade goods. Not long after, a person named Flaming Tiger from the Shadow Guild came to my trading place. These bastards want my wares but only want to give silver coins and force me. I told them to leave, but they got angry and didn't accept it. But soon Heartstabber came and bought up all my wares. Blackie was also there. Seeing him, I then left the trading area. On the way, Blackie and I chatted and intended to go to the Dark Moon Valley, but without us realizing it, Flaming Tiger intended to take revenge on me. On the way, Blackie told me that there was an elite monster called a snow fox right where we were. Seeing that, I explained to Blackie that the monster was on my level and immediately charged at it, which made Blackie very surprised. After I attacked the monster, I realized that he was quite strong, and I'm a little overwhelmed. Blackie also came to my aid, but his attacks didn't do much damage to the snow fox. When I feel a little pressed, I drank a mysterious iron beer, which made my enemy level down by 2 levels. I then charged at the snow fox with full power. But when I want to do the final attack, someone interrupt. He is an assassin named Quiet Wolf and also a partner of Flaming Tiger. Because previously I couldn't finish off the snow fox, that beast then used the gigantification skill, which made his speed, attack, and health increase by 20%. When it wanted to attack me, I managed to kick the snow fox in the face, so he turned to attack the assassin and ate it. I feel that this is an opportunity. Then attacked the snow fox together with Blackie until finally managed to defeat him. After succeeding, I got a staff of uncommon rank named Blackwood. I also gave the staff to Blackie because I knew that he was a staff user and it would be very useful for him. On the other hand, Flaming Tiger was looking angry at Quiet Wolf for not succeeding in killing me. Quiet Wolf then said that my goal was Dark Moon Valley. I then arrived at the Dark Moon Valley and was in the blacksmith workshop to trigger a hidden quest. After waiting for 10 minutes, finally a hidden quest that I was waiting for appeared. I also rushed to a mine called a Crimson Star and threw a smoke bomb at a horde of kobold monsters. I did that to confuse them in a puff of smoke and then attacked them unnoticed. Blackie and I managed to do it according to plan, and we continued the hunt, which allowed us to level up and get some equipment. In the middle of the fight, we were ambushed, which surprised me quite a bit. Blackie was injured quite badly, but he managed to respond very well, and it turned out that the one who attacked us was a Quiet Wolf. Seeing that I couldn't stay silent, and then lunged at all of them and surprised the Quiet Wolf with the damage I did. Flaming Tiger then ran towards me along with his other comrades. I realized that I was outnumbered, so I decided to back out. I let them deal with the swarm of kobolds that were there, and slaughtered some of them. Saw the Flaming Tiger separated from its comrades. I took advantage of that to ambush him and then fought him. I slashed him and managed to knock him down, making him have to return to Redleaf Town. When he intended to return to the Dark Moon Valley, he was contacted by someone who threatened to expel him if he did not reach level 2 when he got there. Which made the flaming tiger very angry. I then got a skill book called Windblade, where I can use this skill to fight long-range attacker type players because this skill can increase my speed. I then returned to the Forge workshop to complete the hidden quest, but apparently it is still not finished and still continues. It then made me a little surprised because, as far as I remember, there was no second quest. I then went to the level to Crimson Star Mine to kill the kobold leader. I lunged and finished off several kobolds. Blackie also helped up to the point where we managed to finish off the kobolds that were there. Before long, the kobold leader appeared before us, and I don't have much time to complete this quest. I also decided to fight it, and joined the Absol Blade, which at that moment let out a dragon's roar. The kobold leader who saw me called his men, and they rushed at me, seeing that I took a stance and then slashed them until nothing remained. The kobold leader then tried to attack me, but I dodged it easily, and activate the phantom kill skill and then brutally attack him. The kobold leader, who took a lot of damage, went into a rage and became a berserker. When in a berserker state, he will have an increase in attack speed and attack power by 100%. Blackie tried to attack him, but he became the target of the kobold leader. Seeing that, I immediately used the skill of the Absol Blade to restrain him. But the kobold leader easily let go of the restraint. I, who saw an opportunity, immediately hit it, and it had no effect at all, made him even angrier. The kobold leader was trying to buy time by taking out the wolves, and at that time I was forced to use the ace card I had. But the skill is a little less I can control properly. In the end, I ran out of psychic powers when I wanted to do the final attack. But do you think I will give up at that time? Of course not. Because I will rewrite my past story and change the future. After we managed to defeat the kobold leader, Blackie and I got pretty good skill books and equipment. We then returned to the Forge's workshop, then completed the hidden quest that was given. When I was about to leave, the smith saw my Absol Blade. He then said to me, "If my sword has a curse, and it seems that the curse has started to consume me slowly." He then tried to observe it and explained if in fact the sword was forged by Ulysses from the fang of the Black Dragon King, and also ranked 30th out of all the swords in the God's domain. But when forging, Ulysses put a curse into this sword. I then asked if the curse could be removed. The smith said that no one in the God's domain could remove the curse, but he can weaken it using a stone called Lucky Stone. I then told Blackie to hand it over, because we found it before fighting the kobolds in the Crimson Star Mine. The forge began to forge until it was finally finished. I then thanked him and walked away. I then arrived at the Forest of Death with Blackie to do a combined raid on a dungeon. There I met someone named Lonely Wolf who contacted me earlier to join his squad. I was then taken to meet with his colleague, but there they thought they had wasted their time because they were already waiting for a level 1 like me. Seeing that, I decided to leave the squad with Blackie, followed by Lonely Wolf, who also left his squad and joined me, and also Blackie. We then decided to recruit some people, but no one intends to join because they think our level is still very low. Soon a woman named Bai Kingsu appeared with her two colleagues Xiaoyueru and Xiaoyur, which made the atmosphere there become boisterous. Bai Kingsu then came up to me, and I invite him to join my squad. No wonder he accepted my invitation. We then entered the dungeon. I also decided to choose Hellgrade, which shocked Xiaoyueru as well as those present there. I said, "Take it easy," because I wouldn't make a decision if I wasn't sure about the outcome. Deep in the forest, we were surprised by the appearance of a boss monster named Wilmy. I then ordered Lonely Wolf to do his job as a tanker and received the aggro from the boss monster. He dashed toward the boss monster without any buff from Xiaoyur, and Lonely Wolf almost got hit by a boss monster if Blackie didn't restrain him. But the restraint didn't last long. Lonely Wolf continued to lunge and also attack. I saw that and then came forward to help together with Bai Kingsu. But that didn't work at all and made the boss monster enter berserker mode. We were then surprised that the boss monster's aggro switched from Lonely Wolf to Xiaoyueru. It was because the spell thrown by Xiaoyueru was too big. I couldn't allow that and tried to attack the boss monster, intending to take the aggro from Xiaoyueru. The boss monster cast its skills and I was a bit overwhelmed. Bai Kingsu saw it and tried to help me. We then attacked the boss monster together and finally managed to defeat it. While we were recovering, suddenly we heard a roar from the boss monster werewolf. We looked at him sharply. He was amazed. Then we lunged at him with all our might and finally managed to beat him. Oh, the loot we get is very abundant. Bai Qingsu then told us to choose the items we wanted to take. I then gave Bai Qingsu the recipe for an extremely precious potion to them. It was because they had done their best in this dungeon raid. We also managed to finish the raid dungeon this time and made the people there in an uproar. Bai Qingsu then invited me to join her guild called Ouroboros. He also told me that in the next 3 days, Ouroboros will carry out a massive dungeon raid in Dark Moon Graveyard. As far as I know, Ouroboros is not just a guild, but a large organization that includes all virtual games around the world. And investors from all over the world will definitely do anything so that the raid 3 days ahead can be achieved. I and Bai Qingsu also added friendship to each other and disbanded our raid party. Okay, this is my adventure story. Later we will discuss it again. Don't forget to like and subscribe for my other adventure stories.